How's it going, internets? I hope you're having a lovely day. It's that time again. It's time to get into some animation. It's time to get creative. Time to get that imagination all revved up. It's time to get inspired. And today's inspiration comes from Ken Kelly. If you're not familiar with his work, check right over here. He does some beautiful, beautiful, beautiful work. He worked on Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, did some stuff with Conan, did some stuff with Kiss. Just great, great, great work. Let's see if I got any of that. Did I grab any of that Kiss stuff? Maybe I didn't. But check out his Kiss covers because those are really cool too. But he's just done some phenomenal illustration and drawing. He was actually related to Frank Frazetta and got some definite inspirations from him and good tips as well, which you can see are evident throughout his work. He's got a very kind of that 70s, 80s, early 90s Frazetta feel. And then I wanted to share a quote with you guys from him as well. It was, I consider myself an average guy who's been blessed with a gift. That doesn't mean my life's a walk because of this gift, but rather that I knew very early in my life what direction I'd be going in. I talk to people all the time that aren't sure of the direction they took or go in, so in that I'm content. I hope the powers that be will allow me to continue to participate in this very wonderful field. I like very much what I do. And I thought that was a really great quote because it shows the gratitude and the thankfulness that I think all of us who are creatives, especially you guys and myself at least, should be thankful that we have this passion or this desire or this drive to be creative and to make things and to come up with different stuff and to tell stories or to create imagery or to sing songs or whatever it is that you guys are phenomenal at or are striving to be amazing at. And to have that spirit of thankfulness in your heart for the gifts that you have and the passions that you have. I think it's important to not forget that and to maintain that aspect of always, even when it's tough, even when it's difficult, even when it's frustrating, even when you were working this morning and lost 3 hours of work, like I say, save multiple times and save often. I'm kind of talking to myself here. But to be thankful and grateful for every day that you have, and that you can continue down this path. And I think it's important to try and put that effort in every day as well. And another little jumping off point from this quote that I wanted to talk about was he talks about how a lot of people aren't sure what direction to take, and I think everyone has a little bit of uncertainty, especially when they're first starting out or they're going and they're building their journey and they haven't quite gotten to that destination they want to be. But I think it's important to find that thing that's the reason you wake up in the morning. It's that thing that you think about when the lights go out and the thing that you really want. And to find out what that is. And that might take a while. It took me longer than I thought it would be. Granted, that's another story. But sometimes it might take a while to figure out where it is you want to go or what you want to do. But I think it's important to try and find that. And maybe it takes you most of your life to find what it is that drives you. But to always be searching for that. And if you found what it is, don't take that for granted. Work at it. Be passionate. Be consistent. Be persistent. Be disciplined every day. So that being said, I'll definitely throw some more stuff down to the amazing work of Ken Kelly, who I'm sort of new to. Again, I've seen his work ever since I was a little kid, but just wasn't putting the name with the artist. So I know for sure I'll be definitely looking through and studying some more of his pieces because I think there's some really great pieces of work in here. I love the coloring. I love the posing. I love it when I got those really thick, wide wrists. I think that's really cool. It's a definite style that I appreciate. I also like really scrawny stuff too, of course. So that being said, let's go ahead and get into some animation. I'm just rambling now because I love illustration and art and animation for that matter as well. So this is a Toony rig. It's a free rig you can grab over at Creative Crash. And if you're not familiar with what we do here for the next half an hour to an hour, hopefully, yesterday was a little bit longer, I go off and I find a different rig that I've never used before. And a rig is a character, if you're not familiar, which I'm sure most of you are. And we give ourselves around 48 frames or 2 seconds of animation, and we see what we come up with. And since it's a rig that I've never used before, sometimes there's some struggles, sometimes it's easier, and it always makes it so that there's something new that we can talk about or experience or share together as well. And the main goal of these videos is to hopefully encourage you guys to continue on your journey and make you feel like you've got someone else sharing that art day with you, sharing those successes, sharing those failures, all that kind of stuff. And hopefully inspire you guys to go off and create your own work. And if you do any of that stuff, definitely please share down below so I can give you some encouragement, or send me a message or any of that kind of stuff, because I'm here for you guys as well, as I'm here to practice and study myself and learn and grow. I'm here for you guys to help support the kind of indie or underground illustration and animation community that's around these days, and I really want to help bolster that as much as I can. So that being said, let's go ahead and get in here. Right, it's a little late tonight, like I kind of alluded to earlier. Had some technical difficulties, and I just kind of got back into that importance of saving often and saving multiple versions, because I lost a couple hours of work today. And I think when I was doing my research for the quote for the day to share with you guys, it just kind of spoke to me, but I wasn't really sure why. But now that I'm kind of boy, I can't get any heal here. Alright, this might be a little funky, so bear with me. We just don't get any rotating there. This is an older rig, so I might have some silliness that presumes through it. But I think we're just going to stick with a typical kind of vanilla-ish walk. We'll still put a little bit of personality in there. But I'm not going to go too far with any extravagant plans for today's animation. Let's still create a nice pose of again. Now, one thing, I was tinkering a little bit with the rig before we started, and this is interesting. Watch this. So we do this, and then we get a breakup in the forearm. I thought that was interesting. I've seen that in a few rigs before, but most current rigs don't have it's not FK arms built in that same way, which is okay. We can definitely deal with that, but that was kind of an interesting older style approach to rigging that you don't see as much in the newer rigs. And obviously that doesn't look so great, so let's go ahead and put it back up. Do not have any rotate here. No. It's kind of strange how they dull out the rotate here. Put that at 0. What does that do? Alright, well, this might be more static than I thought. We'll have to see. Rotate that back. Let's see this wrist. See, none of these have a rotate on the wrist. And this doesn't even have a... Okay, I have the IK-FK switch here, so that's good. I'll turn that off right now. Does this one have the... Okay, it is on IK leg, so that's good. Let's make sure this one is 2. Maybe we just don't get a rotate on the wrist. See, wrist rotate. Okay, let's wrist up and down. Okay, you just got it separated here. That's interesting. Or she, whoever made the rig, they have it up, front, and rotate rather than X, Y, and Z. That's why it's always kind of fun to experiment and play around with different rigs because you get to see the different approaches that riggers have and some of the older approaches that maybe aren't so utilized these days as well. But I thought it was a very aesthetically interesting rig here. So let's go ahead and do that. Just trying to create semi-interesting pose here. Here we'll make him older. Give him a nice hunch. Could be fun. It's kind of weird that we don't get any rotate on the feet, but maybe this is that same thing that we were looking at in the other one where they heel peel. No, it's going to be standing tip. No. Okay, I guess we could do a little bit of that. We can still get a little bit of variation there. Let's go and do it here a little bit there, and a little bit there, just so they're not straightforward to camera. And perhaps not so much swing on the arm, so let's go ahead and pull that back a little bit. Maybe we should do more. Let's see. Look at that. That's a weird way that that interacts, but that's okay. Back there. Stuff like this is probably a little too much. And bummer. This is one of those ones where it just has one controller per finger, which doesn't usually make for as good of posing on the hand. So let's just have kind of a loose and master spread and bring them together a little bit more. Let's pull the thumb back. Just do something a little more of that. Again, it's not perfect, but it's kind of what we gotta work with. Pull that in. I'm gonna leave this one open a little bit more. Yeah, I don't like the way it grips. Let's open it back up here. And keep it loose though. Okay, yeah, let's see if we can't. I think there was some facial stuff here. Let's make him a little bit grumpier. Okay, let's go ahead and start there. So let's make sure we just have our nerve curves, nerve surfaces, and polygons selected. And let's set our frame range. We're just going to do cycle for this one. Like I said, probably a little bit quicker today, depending on how the rig works with us. Go ahead and save our file, and we are using Autodesk Maya 2014 for today. So if you guys are looking for more information on that, as well as a link to this rig or more stuff on the beautiful illustration and painting work of Ken Kelly, check out the description below. So first thing we want to do is we want to get the feet working, and we want to get the hips working. So let's go ahead and get that going. This is a little too far back there. Okay. Set that, set that, set that. We're just kind of copying those original keys there. Got a little bit of the hiccups today, sorry about that. Okay. And let's go ahead and do a little bit of, let's go down. Oh, go ahead and go back to this one. Let's go down on the passing position. hips are really the biggest things to start with on any walk, at least in my opinion. You guys might start somewhere else, but for me, those are always the most important things to start with. Once you get those working, then you can start getting on more of the minute details or things that can add to a walk. But you definitely want to nail down the feet and the hips first. We'll go to the other side here. Raise that one up. Raise that one up. Bring it down so it's good to see that. Okay. Let's go ahead and make smaller steps. Let's go window animation editors. Let's pull the graph editor up. And we're going to translate Y's here. That's the cube. I don't need that on the foot. Okay. So let's just do one at a time then. Let's translate Z then from here. Let's translate Z, that's the up and down for this one. Okay. A little bit different than I'm used to, but that's alright. We're just going to do kind of low steps here, so this is going to be translate Z. I'll go and bring that back here. We'll just do kind of low steps there. And we'll compare the two, about the same height. And let's look at the translate Y here on the up and down. I feel like that's probably a little too much and not very even. So let's go ahead and balance that out a little better. And this is the up and down on the hips. And normally it would go up on the passing position. That's the normal way of a walk. But I like sometimes mixing it up and doing the opposite. Adds a little more character in there. You know what I think I'll do instead? I think I'll play with the hands a little bit more. Instead of doing a normal kind of swing like we would with the hands, let's go ahead and bring it back. And bring it down. Let's source that now. Okay. I'm just having given kind of those little creepy, menacing arms. Maybe kind of like a grumpy, menacing old man kind of thing. Let's go ahead and see. Maybe a little bit higher. I'll rotate up. I'm gonna tweak this. It's interesting how these arms are set up with the really cool. Let's see. Okay, obviously I'm gonna let's go grab all of these here. I'll take what we have at 2 and put it at 0 and then delete that. We just have a little hiccup there. Let's go ahead and see that now. We'll still probably add a little bit of swing there. And again, we got the same thing since we frames when we were setting up this posing. Gotta readjust that. So I'll take that. Like that. So let's see. I'm probably even slow it down. Let's go ahead and save that and let's tweak our timing a little bit. So let's just go 60 frames right now. And I think we're going to do this on 7s instead of 6 for our base setup here. Now we did save our file before just in case we need to revert back to this original timing. I don't think we need to go all the way to 8s, but I think 7s should work a little better. Just slow it down a little bit more than typical. Okay. Now let's see if we can get some of that peel. Heel peel. Pull that up there. And zero it out there. And give it a little bit there. Zero it out there. And bring it back. Zero it out there. Zero it out there. And let's see. Because we want to get some drag in there. And then we'll do toe tap, so we'll drag the toe down a little bit there. Lift the toe up here, 2 frames, so feet out there. Drag. And we'll have to adjust the height of these steps now that we had to use that. What was that, stand tip controller instead of having an actual rotation there? Oh, that's okay. I think that'll still work. Yeah, that feels pretty good. Still a little bit probably higher than I want, so I'll take the translation Y. Actually, I think it was translate Z that we ended up using. And we'll lower that down a little bit more, because I don't want these to be really high steps. Let's go ahead and keep that, what's that, the heel peel controller, and we'll keep that flattened out there, so it does have a few frames where it's really flat along the ground, just to help sell the contact a little bit more. Let's zero that out. Again, let's go and look at that now. Again, I'd rather have it be a rotate because I feel like the knee kicks out a little bit further than I want, but that's alright. And let's look at the other side here. Key that. We'll give ourselves a little bit of heel peel there. Zero it out there. Zero it out there. 35. Let me actually keep it 0, but get our heel peel there. And 0 out there. And that's something that I probably don't do enough, and usually in my walk cycles, just because of the time that I have to do these versus the time that I would do on a really polished one. I don't do that usually heel peel off the ground, so it'll be nice to get a little bit of that in there. And let's do a toe tap. We'll drag the toe there, lift it up, give it 2 frames, and then have it land. That may get that heel contact, and then the toe tap. And drag the toe down there, lift it up here, and give me 2 frames, and then 0 it out, just so we get that heel. I like that, the name of that controller. Heel peel. Peel heel. It's fun to say. Heel peel. And let's get the translate Z. That's the lift on there. It feels fairly even. Okay. As you can see, there's a little interaction of the translate Y and the translate Z on those foot controllers, but I'm not going to worry about it too much here. And let's go ahead and grab this controller, and we'll do a little bit of translate X, so the weight goes over the planted foot here, and there, here again, and back. Okay, and let's do a little bit of rotate Z here. So get a little tilt to favor the weight here as well. So it's not just a translation, but it's actually tilting into it. The hips would be leaning to get that weight moving. And let's go and even that up. So that was the rotation Z. Probably don't need as much, and let's even it out so we don't favor the left or the right side, but we get a fairly equal amount on both sides. Now again, if you had someone who had like a bum leg or something, you definitely amp up to favor one side or the other, but in this case we don't need something like that. Okay, and let's do a little bit of rotate Y here to favor the front planted. And we might need to go back in and do some, try and find an actual hip controller, because this seems to be more of a chest controller than a hip controller. Which I think we can use this one for, but we'll have to see. Still going to try and get that feeling in there, and then we'll offset the chest as well. Okay, so let's go look at that now, let's see how we're doing. These two, and we're going to rotate to favor. Let's see, so once we rotate X here to favor that, and then we go, what's that, 14, favor the other side here, and 28, and 42, and back again to 56. Let's go and see it. Okay, obviously we need some cleanup here. And we'll probably do a lot less of what we have to, so we'll scale that back and equal it out. Let's go and see it now. Feels alright. Now let's get a little bit of that rotate. For this case, it should be C still. And over there, we'll have to probably tweak this in the graph editor because it looks like a little goes a long way with this controller here. And you'll notice that some controllers are really sensitive, and other controllers you really have to crank on them to get some movement out of them. Just depends on what kind of a controller it is and how it was rigged and everything, so you gotta be aware of that. A lot of them with the really sensitive stuff, I just almost do where I'm just setting the key there and then do all the real posing and stuff in the graph editor, so that it's not whipping around side to side. Okay, feels alright. See, there's a mix between the translate Y and translate Z here, so the feet actually lift up a little bit. Makes the contact a little less than accurate like I'd like, but we'll just work around it for today. And let's see if we can get a little bit of rotate Y here in the hips, so we can actually get some of that twist going on in the body that's needed in a walk. You gotta have your hips and your chest kind of going opposite each other so that you can help sell a walk a little bit better and get that twist. favoring one side versus the other. And how I base that off of is like 0 would be the medium or the middle amount, and I've got a lot down here below 0, so that means it's going to favor one side or the other. And I'm sure you guys already all know this because you're phenomenal, intelligent, smart, wonderful people. I really believe that. I think you guys are awesome and amazing, and you guys can do wonderful things, so don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on your dreams. Keep going every day. You guys can do it. I'm going to just add a little bit of tilt in here. So we're going to get in there and actually do it the right way. Tilt into there. So we get that little bit of angle shift because the weight is going to be planted over there and that foot's going to be raised. There. And even if you guys are illustrators, which I tend to base a lot of my inspiration on, because that's my secret. I'm working on a couple of illustration books, so that's where some of my true loves really lie. But I would challenge you guys and say really get into some animation too, because it really helps your posing and helps you understand body mechanics a lot better, and all that's going to inform your illustration or your drawing a lot more as well. I find for myself, I don't work on as many shots these days, but I always do this series with you guys, so it helps me to look and think in 3D space, which helps me be able to translate that to 2D illustration work a lot. And plus, I don't think there's that many people on YouTube that are doing this kind of video. At least there wasn't when I was first starting, so I hope you guys are enjoying the channel and everything. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you guys do like it, and if you don't, let me know too, so I can help offer different things. If you guys want to see different kinds of shots or different kinds of exercises. I know I need to do some more lip sync one. I just haven't really had the time to find a good lip sync quote lately. Try to get a little bit of tilt in the head if we can here. Might be a little too much. Let's try just going the other way with it then. Yeah, let me just lip sync, do some more acting stuff, but those ones usually take a little bit more. I don't know. I'm interested to know if you guys like the more just every day it's something different with a different rig and just playing around, trying them out, see what we can get out of them, or if you like the more longer form ones, which I haven't done for probably a month or so now, where take maybe half a week or a week and work through a longer form shot with more dialogue or a longer acting scene or something. Let me know what kind you like. Should probably get back into doing those at least every couple of weeks just to mix up the channel a little bit more. And we'll go ahead and do a little bit of movement on the arms. I don't want to do too much. I'm obviously going to have to go in and tweak the forearm here because you're getting some weird deformation here. But I still want a little bit of that. And we'll go here at 7 and we'll do it up a little bit. We'll go 21, we'll drag it down, 35, up, 49, down, and back again. Okay, it's alright. Need to tweak it up a little bit more. I think what I'm finding is that I want to universally move it down a little bit more, or up in the graph header, but down in 3D space. Okay, and let's do a little bit of swing on the hand here. Up there, down there, swing forward, swing back. fix the seam between the end of the shot to the beginning so that it doesn't hold for those 2 frames, but I feel like that's working okay. Probably do a little more swing on the arm here. Just a little bit. Maybe a little less in the hand. Oh, that's what it is. The reason I didn't really like that is because I didn't actually go over and then come back at the wrist, so I'll clean that up, so that should help a little bit. How is that the wrist front and back? Back and front. Okay, let's watch that now. That should feel a little bit better. And I think we're going to still minimize that a little bit more. It's just a little too loose. Kind of want to keep those hands more at more in a minimal amount of movement. And I think we'll go ahead and go into the forearm and do a little less there as well. And just since we have it for a while, let's make sure and save our file once we're done with this. Okay. That feels better. I don't want very swingy arms, but a little bit of movement in there. Maybe a little less up on there. Feels a little better. And let's go ahead and approach the other arm here. Go 14, go forward, 28, go back, 42 forward, and now we'll cycle back to the beginning. It's funky how these arms are set up. That's okay, I can work through it. Go down. Up. Down. Up. Back again. Go the other way. Okay. I think we need to pull the arm down to start with. And let's check this guy. So we got that weird twist going on, so let's see if we can avoid that. That feels pretty good. Let's get a little bit into the wrist now. Up. Back. And I'm going the wrong way again. That's okay. Just flip it in the graph editor. Let's see here. I feel like we might need to do a little bit of rotation in the wrist. It feels a little stiff. And maybe less front and back too. Just it feels a little too broken, snapped there. And let's look at that wrist rotate. I'll clean that up. Okay, and let's get in and do a little bit of movement on the fingers here. So drag them down there, lift them out there, drag them down, lift them out, and then go back again. And that's probably too much, but we'll see. I think we want to go the other way again. Should have just known. For some reason, I keep inverting the way I'm thinking about this wrist from the way that I want it to look. For some reason, I feel like need to do less on that middle finger, more down. See, it's not even like going down nearly enough there. So let's see. And I feel like they do kind of go up a little bit too high. So let's bring that all down a little bit more. Let's look at that now. I think that's pretty good. It's not a lot of movement, but it's enough in there. Still feel like that middle finger needs to be, just feels like it's purposefully moving on its own, and we want it to feel a little more natural. Okay, and let's look at the other side here. Lift it up there. Drag it back there. Lift it up there. Drag it back there. And then go back to the beginning again. Okay, real light on that, and let's delay the pinky a frame, take the index, and bring it forward a frame. And let's take this one, put the index forward a frame, and drag the pinky a frame here too, just to mix it up a little bit more. Okay, and let's do a little bit on the thumb. Maybe not that much on the thumb. Thumb's kind of funky how it's working. Group it in there, because it's like it almost moves on two different axes. I'm sure it's axes, right? Axes. Man, sometimes get stuck on a word and then just think about it. And then wonder where its origin came from, how it got there. If you want to blab about the plural of the word axis down below, feel free to. And let's go and do a little bit on the other side. Thumb here. Get a jaw control here. Okay. Do a little bit of up and down on there. So it'll go down when the head goes up. This is probably too much. We'll probably minimize that a lot, but let's go ahead and see how it feels. Yeah, it looks like he's like chewing some gum or some cud or something right now. So let's go ahead and just do a little bit of that. We'll delay the frame just so the timing's a little bit different. Let's see, just so we can get some looseness in the bottom of that face. There we go. I still see that it's moving a little bit, but not a lot. And I saw it had some ear controllers, so let's see if we maybe can get something out of those ears as well. Both of those. Let's see. Let's go. Start at 4. Okay, I guess we'll do rotate Z, and we'll just have to do a little bit of this. I don't think we can do a ton, because then they'll look wrong. As if that looks wonderful to begin with, but some looseness in those ears. Just another thing that we can play with here. And we'll do it at different timing as well. Back again. Let's see. It might be just way too much to begin with. So let's do hardly any of this. And this is where the graph editor's nice because you can really get minuscule movements that would be a lot harder to do if you had to key everything in 3D space. I forget which one of my, I think it's Victor Navone, phenomenal animator I got to study under or study with for a little while. He has some great lectures and approaches to really doing so much animation. I think it's him. Hope I'm not mistaken. On spline hygiene and how much he does his work in manipulating tangents rather than doing really a lot of work in 3D space. It's probably one of the people that I've seen that, and if memory serves me correctly, Michael Amos. Another great animator who I studied with as well. He went on and worked on Peabody and Sherman. Did a lot of stuff in the graph editor. Some really wonderful magic. And Tony Chua as well. Check them out. Those guys are awesome and amazing. I think I have links to all these people that I'm mentioning on caseyturbos.com if you guys want to check that out as well. Yeah, I think that'll work for today. Let's go ahead and turn rope curves off. Let's go and save our file. Let's check it out again. Some definite, I feel like the feet are raising a little bit. It'd be nice to really get in and polish that out, but I think that's okay. For now, don't really like how these elbows are deformed, but I think that's more of a rigging thing. I'm sure we could get a different idea and get different movement out of it, but I think overall it works. So, especially for probably still being under an hour, let's go ahead and create another background here just so I don't have to look at this same boring gray thing all the time. So I'll just create another cube, assign a new material, and I have to put a Lambert on there. Let's give this guy a boring color. I feel like he's a little muted kind of a personality, so it's boring. Let's do like a boring orange. Yeah. That seems about fitting for the personality of this character, I'd say. Just a really boring orange. It needs to be maybe a little more orange. Feels alright. It's kind of more of a brown now, but I think that works too. So let's go ahead and watch that now. Okay, and let's take a look back at where we started. We were looking at the great work of Ken Kelly, and he said, I consider myself an average guy who has been blessed with a gift. That doesn't mean my life's a walk because of this gift, but rather that I knew very early in life what direction I'd be going in. I talk to people all the time that aren't sure of the direction they took or will go in, so in that I'm content. I hope the powers that be will allow me to continue to participate in this very wonderful field. I like very much what I do, and I think that quote says quite a lot. It's important to be grateful and thankful for everything that you have and everything that you're allowed to do in the world and that you're driven to do, and be thankful for that passion and thankful that you've found what you want to pursue, and if you haven't, go out there and find what it is that you're passionate about and really focus on that. And that being said, thanks again for watching, everyone. Thanks for all the likes and subscribes. You guys are amazing. I totally believe in you. If you're watching this, you guys are the creative future, so build it and be passionate about everything that you do. And I think that'll do it for today. I love you guys lots. I hope you learned something, or at least got encouraged or inspired throughout all of this. And that being said, we will see you for some more animation tomorrow.